Hey folks, this is Ben Yussel. How's it going? Sometimes at night I have these racing thoughts and they can be hard to manage sometimes. But there's a train of thought I have here that I think I should share with you guys. And I know I've been on vacation with my parents and um, sorry, it's just yeah, I've had so definitely more than a few reasons why I haven't put anything out recently, but this definitely deserves some attention. This train of thought here, and of course I'll be putting out more videos in January, like usual. So there's some great people out there, and great people online, great people real life, and you know I'm just gonna say it like most of the time we don't really understand fully how great some people are. In some respects, if you really comes down to it, it's vast majority of humanity at least. I guess the Lord Jesus Christ would know better than anybody the worth of human souls. But man, we misunderstand people all the time, more or less. But we undervalue people a lot. We don't. We just get things wrong. There's a there's a gentleman I've been talking to who's really, 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 really smart, and really he's a good musician. And I'll tell you what, man, like it's the things that are of the most value in life are always sometimes the hardest to get. But if you make progress toward those things, or if you can get those things, it makes all the difference in the world. They're worth it to keep pursuing all these things. One of these things has to do with um, well, it's very straightforward train of thought I have here, which it's straightforward in a way, but it's hard to put in words. It goes something kind of like this. It's often not the case that, well, I was talking about music and martial arts recently, but really this applies to so many other things outside of that. It's often not the case that we tend to admire people the most. It's often not the case. Not the case. They tend to admire people the most that are within what we think is our chosen profession or our top skills or hobbies. It's often not the case that the people we admire the most are the best in that field. Why is that, do you think? Or it's often the people that we would ideally want to study under or learn from. It's often not. It's generally not the people that everyone says we should. Other people we should study under, or that oh my gosh, he's such a good teacher, or such a well respected teacher, or whatever. It's it's we often find that maybe that's not really the best way to go, or maybe that's not really who I really want to have as a teacher. You can get into the whole dating marriage thing about that whole train of thought too, you know. But it's just so much of this stuff is very spiritual in nature, and talking about people that have accomplished things that you want to accomplish, or something similar to it. And I'm especially talking about music composition, but I'm definitely talking about all kinds of other things. Believe me, the more specific that you're getting about what you want to do, the more specific we should be really thinking about who it is that has done what we want to do, or is closest to what we want to do. And there's just no way around it. These colleges, these other people, whoever can say whatever they want to about who's supposedly the best. And as I mentioned, music performance, there's kind of that elite crowd, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it's still who's the best is somewhat subjective. And that's the case with so many things. It's not even funny. It's like, uh, the best at what? The best at what and when? When were they the best? And who said they were the best? Which governing body determined that they were the best or one of the best? It's just this opinion thing. It all comes down to opinions. Oh, but it's, we've had some of the top people in these fields that said that these are the best. And well, I'm sure there's some weight to that, but it's not the Ten Commandments, folks. It's like, and some of what this gentleman's been saying to me, he's kind of been hinting at this stuff. Actually, not hinting at it. He's actually kind of spelled it out. But I thought, I just drive the point home a bit more. There's an incredible amount of conceit. And I'm looking more at music in this regard. The arts, and classical music especially. I don't always get that arrogance from martial arts. It's a different deal with athletics and martial arts. Now, I could very well be wrong. I definitely could be wrong here. Maybe I just am so familiar with the classical music culture, but there's so much arrogance. It's just ridiculous. And you can't talk to musicians a lot of times about this stuff. Or the only ones that are open to this stuff are, unusually good people. And they often say the same thing. It's so frustrating to have to talk to these arrogant pricks. And I'm hoping that these arrogant pricks, the things that keep them from being even more arrogant, have something to do with their having humbling experiences, I suppose you could say. Humbling experiences. As a train of thought, some people wonder, how is it that you can write music to get at certain emotions? How can you write music that just evokes certain emotions that haven't really been expressed very much, or very rarely in the past, or maybe even not at all, depending on how specific you're getting as far as emotions. And some composers don't really care about emotions at all. It's such a shame. But, or whatever, how do you, but, if a composer asks that question, how do you get at that mood, that train of thought, that idea, whatever? It's such a wonderful question. It's showing that people are really curious. It's just seriously curious about that kind of train of thought. But a lot of times, what it takes something of a personal experience kind of thing, or it takes something spiritual in nature. It takes emotional struggle. It takes life experience. Some subjects are very dark. Some subjects are very emotional. Some experiences are very, very, very difficult. And when you hear music that's so emotional, passionate, and just, oh my gosh, you wonder, is it a reflection on that person? Yeah, it is. I mean, if something does seem artificially contrived somehow, then it probably is. But if something does sound like it's coming from someone's soul, it probably is. There's no mistaking it. Rachmaninoff was a very good man. And Elgar as well. You know, you cannot fake it when it comes to that kind of music. You have to be a certain kind of person. You have to have a certain level of godly character to write like that. There are less godly composers who have written pretty amazing music, and you can talk about how that music is very emotional, very heroic, or whatever it is, all day if you want to, but you can still hear their character, their music. And you can tell which composers have the most godly character, which composers are more humble. You can hear that. If you doubt me, go ahead and listen to them. It's all there on YouTube. All the classical composers are out there. You can hear for yourself. You can hear for yourselves all this stuff. You can hear which composers have written more difficult music as well, more technical music. You know, you can pick up which composers were probably more technically skilled than others. It's no mystery. But the question is, who do we admire the most and why? And that boils down to who we are as people and who we want to study under. And are we going to stop listening to, people mean well oftentimes when they suggest whoever, whatever it is. But, this life is like a process of coming to understand ourselves better and better all the time. It is. I can't always say I made the very best decisions for everything I've ever pursued, but I know what it is that makes me tick increasingly, more and more. And I also know how many obstacles I've had to overcome and will probably overcome. There's been a whole bunch of stuff that's tried to get in my way, and still is. I want this to be food for thought for you guys. Don't try to let all this crap that is thrown at you about where to go to college or who to study under or whatever this stuff. That's just so much that's crap. If, try to find professors. If you're a musician, try to find professors that enjoy what you enjoy. Try to find professors that have done what you want to do. You're going to learn all kinds of theory. Try to learn as much practical stuff as you can. The theory isn't worthless. It's just less useful. It's not as you won't use it as much as the practical stuff. You guys take care. Talk to you later.